Hi, I'm Johanna Rothman, and this is my March 2025 Create an Adaptable Life newsletter. How do you know when you're no longer on top of your game? Dave, not his real name, asked me this question. How do you know when you have to quit or retire? Is it when you're no longer on the top of your game? Being at the top of your game means you have no more to learn. You've mastered this topic. Because I am ridiculously snarky, I said, how could anyone have nothing left to learn? And how many people already think they know everything and know much less than they should? We both laughed. Then he said, well, I wonder if I'm on the top of my game, and if I'm not, what do I do next? Dave's question is good, and we need to segment it a little. In which dimensions are we at the top of our game? Intellectual, physical, or emotional capabilities? Can we assess those capabilities? Finally, how do we choose what to do next and when? That often depends on where we are in our lives. Let me start with our various capabilities and how we might assess them. How we might assess our intellectual, physical, emotional capabilities. Dave meant his intellectual capabilities, but part of his intellect is his stamina for problem solving and his relatively calm demeanor at work. I have a lot of stamina as long as I don't have to stand up. However, I am nowhere near as apparently calm as he is. I don't know how calm he is. I only know how calm he appears on the outside. Dave is also terrific at asking for help and giving credit to the people who help him. Many other people think that makes him even more intellectually capable than he is. I asked Dave if he'd ever asked for feedback about his capabilities. No, he said, and looked away. I'd be afraid of what I'd hear. Fear is a powerful emotion, but Dave has other options. As an example, he could ask if he'd ever let the other person down, or he could ask if the other person valued something specific about him and his work. That might offer him insights as to what to do next. What's next? Regardless of our current intellectual, physical, and emotional capabilities, most of us do have to choose what to do next. We might want to retire, and I hope that means retire to, not just retire from. When we retire to the next thing, we can anticipate it, prepare for it, and learn to enjoy that next thing. We can look forward. In contrast, when we retire from a previous thing, we tend to look back. I bet you know some of those people. They're always talking about the good old days. I much prefer to make these days the best I can, rather than relive the old days. Some of those old days were not so hot. But when is an excellent question. It might have something to do with now, and it definitely has something to do with our future selves. Plan for when before you need to. After I reassured Dave that I thought he was still on top of his game, I asked him 2 questions. What's next? Do you have any idea? And then, when do you think next will occur? He said, I have no answers for either of those questions. I suspect those are the first 2 questions each of us needs to answer, because we might want to move to the next thing before we think we're no longer at the top of our game. What does Dave think? He's decided he's still on top of his game, but it's time for him to start thinking about what's next. Then he consider when. Announcements. Register now for the next writing workshop, link in the comments below. And I have feedback on my newest book, Effective Public Speaking. It's still in progress, so if you don't like it, don't buy it yet. I have a discount code for the Agile Network. I have all the other links below, including my link tree and my store, and I will see you next month.